Dumb and Dumber over here.
Rough day.
You have no idea.
Let's talk about it.
Being a woman has its advantages, but it's not an easy ride. Balancing careers, relationships, motherhood, family, and life can be quite the challenge. Sometimes you have to be a lady, and sometimes you gotta be a broad. Welcome to the Two Broads from Boca, the place where we talk about all the things you think about but don't say out loud.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Two Broads from Boca. Buckle up, it's going to be a bumpy show. That's all I'm saying. We are back from a little hiatus that I took, as she clearly reminds me.
Yeah, there's no we involved in that.
She was off because we had a tape. However, that being said, the college tour from hell, that's all I'm saying. And just to let you know, we have a little new set this evening, simply because we're having a lovely furry friend visit us after the break. But we'll talk about that in a moment. Let me just say, if any of you have kids that are going to college, prepare and do not do winter tours up north. 2 snowstorms, 2, okay? Lost power in 5 hotels in 3 days. And the last motel...
Notice I haven't gotten a word in edgewise, and this is going to be... I'm going to be Silent Bob tonight
because I am a woman on the edge. I'm just saying. There's going to be an F-bomb, I'm sure.
I thought enough time went by for this trip, but apparently she's still harboring all this.
I was at a
and
Motel
saving it up
6.
for tonight.
Motel 6. Crack.
They leave the light on for you.
Yeah,
How was
you know
it?
what light there was? There was the Met light. That's what they left on. It was awful. It was, but the colleges were very nice. I have to say.
Did you have to? Let's talk about the
Motel 6.
I really want to know because I've never been in one.
And you will never be in one.
So did you have to break out the CSI
Well, let me just
did
explain.
You pull everything
well, that's
off?
the whole thing.
Did you spray it down?
The ambiance. First of all, I made them sleep with hefty bags. I went to the store and bought hefty bags. I'm not kidding. Because I was that scared. The 3 of them fell asleep and they're like, "Oh, these beds are so comfortable." I was up all night because I was afraid somebody was going to break in. When you walk in, the smell was chlorine, like Clorox, and like stale something. I don't know what the stale was. As you're walking down the hallway, I don't know if it was mildew. No, because you know that mildew. This was not mildew. Maybe dead body smell. I wasn't sure.
Oh no.
Then and this
what city was
marijuana also. And God only knows what else. I'm walking and I hear people fighting. I hear dogs in rooms. I'm like, we're gonna die tonight. And no one's gonna know. But I will.
What city was that?
That was called King of Prussia, where we were.
What state?
Pennsylvania. Gorgeous. All I'm saying. But I will tell you, the university is very impressive. Villanova University. Oh my God, loved it. And not as big as I thought, but lovely, lovely kids. I'm very impressed with what was going on. St. Joseph's. Gotta love it. Both Jesuit schools. Loved every second of it. Ursinus, adorable. About this big. Great town. Very nice people, though, I have to say. And we were going to go to Drexel, but that was the second snowstorm, and they canceled that. I also visited a laundromat while I was there. And
that had to be
that was a lot of fun. Went to the did laundry for my family, and of course, I am in the laundromat.
What do you mean they don't have laundry services at Motel 6?
No, Motel 6. Well, let me go back. We stayed at a Hampton Inn, which you can't complain. Everybody loves the Hampton Inn.
The stuff we do for our children.
The Hampton Inn was so disgusting that they, in the Hampton Inn they have the coffee out for you. I go to put the creamer. It was the coffee mate creamer. It came out like a yellow syrup. I was like, we gotta go. So we spent the night and we went down the street to the DoubleTree, which I enjoy a DoubleTree, might I add. I got married at a DoubleTree. So we went to the DoubleTree in King of Prussia. Everything was gorgeous. Everybody's happy, beautiful room, gorgeous. Power goes out at 7:30 because of the snowstorm. Okay, waiting for generators to come on. It was 8 o'clock the next morning. There were no generators. So they told us, we're evacuating you. But no one got us another hotel. So now we're in King of Prussia. Drive all the way down to Philadelphia, stay at the airport, DoubleTree Hotel. Check out and make another reservation at another Hampton Inn in Oaks, Pennsylvania. Go up there with the confirmation number and the whole reservation on my phone. We get in there, they can't accommodate us. Okay, I'm like, what do you mean you can't accommodate? Well, that was just a request. I'm like, no, I got a confirmation number. Apparently, this Hampton Inn does not take confirmation numbers as a confirmation.
Was that before or after the police?
No,
were
that's
called?
when I was told that if I didn't leave the hotel, they were going to call the police. So then
I just
we
wanted
had,
to be a fly on the wall.
and then there you go. And then they were going to call the police. So we had that situation, and then we wound up at the Motel 6. It was not nice. The only thing that was left is that somebody didn't run me over. That was really pretty much, that was all.
I want to get back to the hefty bag conversation.
I had to have the hefty bags on the bed because I was afraid they were going to get fleas. Or something was in
But
that
wait
bed.
a second. How do you sleep on a hefty bag?
Oh,
It's
you
like,
do. When
it's
I'm your mother,
noisy
that's
and
no. I
plasticky
put it underneath the.
and-
I didn't want anybody sleeping on those mattresses. I think bodies were killed on those mattresses.
Oh,
Yeah, so everybody slept with a hefty bag. They slept like rocks. I was at the door just watching
okay,
everything.
so I want to know the end result. After
What?
all this horror and nightmare, your son still is considering going to Pennsylvania in any way?
The
shape, or
snowflakes were
form?
the size of babies.
And he still wants to go?
Still wants to go. They were literally the size of like a well-formed 9-month-old child.
And
was
where is
cold.
Noah in this whole
he
situation? Is he
doesn't-
just standing behind you?
Well, you
like-
know, the main thing was that we have season tickets to the Eagles. So Joe goes, I can go to.
Oh,
see
that's
the
what it's
sunset."
all about. So now we're down to the real situation.
Not the reason why you go to college. Just saying.
But
But I will have
apparently
to say it was very
it
nice.
has some
I
part.
enjoy the religious aspect of the whole thing. Although I am a converted Jew, you can take the girl out of Christ, but you can't take the Christ out of the girl. I have to say, I was very impressed with the children. I really was. And the boy that gave us the tour at St. Joseph's, which also Joseph is Joseph, so I love that. The boy that gave us the tour at St. Joseph reminded me of Joseph. He was lovely, a little shy, a little awkward. I enjoyed that. I'm going to get in trouble for saying that. But it was very nice. I have to say, I was very impressed with the whole school system that was going on there. I really was. But I have to be honest with you, I
So are you
think,
done with college tours now? That's it? It's over?
no, now we got to go to some places over here now. All I'm telling you is
Over
I
here?
have, in Florida, I have
okay.
learned one thing. Start in 8th grade thinking about this because you're going to need to med up. I'm not a believer in the medication, but this trip, starting the meds. Going to the doctor, I'm getting them. I've decided I'm going to live the rest
How
of my
did you
life.
go the
strong.
whole trip without it?
Not a med. Not a med, not a drink. Nothing. Nothing. At one point, I just looked at my husband. I said, if we survive this, then we'll be married forever. I'm not kidding.
Alrighty.
Mitch Reiner says Joe is in Philly by himself. You will be staying in a Motel 6 again. Most likely. Yeah, that's the whole thing. You know,
Well, that's the thing when they go to these places. I mean, there's some incredible schools there, like you
Yeah.
said. All the ones you listed are incredible, but it is an issue with weather and everything.
I
Getting
think also too, you
getting
know, like,
them in and out.
you think
all
about
the time.
how is this
Visiting.
child, my baby, going to navigate being sick, you know, and or navigate, you know, just taking a bath without me screaming 50 times. Get in the shower, you stink like salami.
Hello, this is the umbilical cord.
I
This is
know.
the scissor.
I know.
Time to cut, honey.
Little Wallowitz going on here.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But what can I tell you?
Alright.
I don't know. It's just, I have to say, I do not enjoy this portion of motherhood. I don't want to, as much as I complain, and it's very normal to complain. I don't want to hear these mothers that walking through the tulips because that's a lot of crap. I don't want to, it's really hard to imagine your child on their own. It's fascinating to me. Yeah, I'm going to need a lot of sedation come next year. I'm just letting you know. I'm just going to walk around with an IV, have a party. That's it. Party in a bag. That's what I'm doing. I am. It's very bad.
Okay.
You wait and see. My friend Sarah, if you're watching, Sarah always says you'll be ready to send them to college because you hate them at that point. I don't know. I'm thinking about it.
Well, that's my thing right now. You know, when they're young, before they become teenagers, even tweens are fine. But now I am in the depths of hell. Okay, with
Yeah,
mine,
I understand.
and you have to keep them.
Let me ask you this.
You can't send them someplace.
you could casually run them over. But I have a question to ask you.
Smiled upon. It
No,
wouldn't be frowned upon.
I think
And everyone says, "Oh yeah, been there, done that. Coming back later, when they'll come back when they're in their 20s."
you put
Okay,
them
great.
to bed normal, they wake up with a whole different story. Let me ask you, do you find your second one is worse than the first one, or the first one is worse? What are you finding?
Uh,
What- Like,
I don't want to go into specifics.
Okay. All right, there you go. Because you can't. I can. My kids yell at me all the time, but I'm gonna say the truth. My first one is a different child than the second one.
They're
Obviously,
totally
they're
different.
totally
Mine are
different.
totally different, but
My
I can't.
big guy is a sweet and delicious. You know, he's adorable. He's shy. He's quiet. He's finding his voice. Don't get me wrong. Different. My little one is more me with the penis. So I gotta put him into check a little bit because he a little wild with
Yeah.
the mouth. He thinks he's 14 going on 40.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and a guy at 40 is bad to begin with. So I want to punch his face frequently. The little one, I just like, please don't make me have to call the authorities on myself because I just want to shake you. But with the little one is killing me too. And I think, personally, children stink from 10 to about 20. That's my opinion. And then after 20, I think they finally realize it sucks being an adult, but you're not like that. And girls are different than boys. Boys are very, I don't know what's, I personally think.
At Linda Barada, we used to call it ABS, adolescent butthead syndrome.
I like that. See, I don't say that word. I say
Give me
FAS.
$100,000 and I will go to college with them. Mitchell, there you go.
No, I say FAS, and I can't see F, figure it out. Asshole syndrome, that's what I call it. I can't. I just can't. I really, really can't.
All right, have you vented enough on the college tour?
All right, so that's the college tour situation. All right, that's the college tour
Can
situation.
I vent on something?
By all means, knock yourself
Oh,
out.
thank you.
Anytime.
I have a voice on tonight's show. I'm so happy. I can't express, and I want to know who's with me, how much you hate this new time change. I love it now. I love the time now, the lightness
Me too.
later.
See, I like this.
You can't speak because you've always gotten up at 3:30 in
It's
the
always-
morning and
I'm-
it's always dark.
I'm in the
So
dark
you
all the
don't
time.
have
But I
an
enjoy a
opinion.
longer
Oh,
day.
you like the
I enjoy a longer
Okay.
day.
I hate the dark. My kids didn't want to get up this morning. It was fighting.
Don't you find it worse now than when we have to fall back? Like, people have such a hard time adjusting to the
Yeah, because
spring
we lost
ahead.
an hour.
It's an hour,
I
people.
couldn't go to sleep last night. I was pacing. The whole house was pacing. And it's only an hour. I don't understand why it's such a big thing.
I don't know. I enjoy the life, though. I think they should abolish
So,
it. There's bigger fish
The
to fry.
Florida representatives, if you're watching, and because they are considering doing away with
The
it.
broad said, finish it now. End it. End it. Done.
All right, so I just want to preface our guest tonight because this is something that's very amazing, and she does an amazing job as Susan Mishkin, and she is with the Labrador Retriever Rescue of Florida. And as all of you know, I love labs. I love all animals, but especially labs. And my Daisy passed recently, and I miss her so much. So this is very near and dear to my heart. And of course, Amy is an avid dog lover as well.
Better than children.
And Susan brought a lab with her tonight, so we have another special guest to share. So do not go anywhere. We're going to take a short break, and we will be right back.
Yay.
Hey, the two broads from Boca are taking a short break. We hope you're enjoying the show. You can find them here live on Facebook every Monday night at 7 p.m. And if you can't watch, you can hear the two broads on SoundCloud.com. You can also follow the two broads from Boca on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Want to talk about a topic? Leave the two broads your comments on their Facebook page or contact them at 2TWO broadsfromboca@gmail.com. Let's rejoin the two broads from Boca and let's talk about it.
Welcome back, and we are here with our special guest. Everyone loves the furry friends, of course. Thank you so much, Susan, for being with us tonight.
Thank you for having us.
So tell us about this beauty. She's an absolute beauty and sweetheart. I mean, look at how well behaved this dog
And
is. It's
adopted
amazing.
already.
Right, well, I have to admit that Holly is mine, but we sadly have so many labs in need of a home that we can always find you another, Lorianne. But Holly is,
I know this is going to be tough for me to say no.
my husband sings the song, Holly came from Miami, FLA, and she did. She came from a place that's like a living hell on earth. It's called Miami-Dade Animal Services. And it's not their fault, it's just they are service. they're a shelter, and so many people bring their dogs down to this shelter, or to any shelter, but this shelter is like in the silence of the lambs. You know, you just hear. I know. I don't want to make it a sad thing, but people are not aware of what happens when you get a dog and you say, "Oh, you know what? I don't have the time. It's too much money. The dog's eating my house. Let's just take the dog to the shelter and, you know, turn around and walk away." That's the humane thing that they do. But sometimes people dump dogs in the Redlands, by the Everglades.
Oh,
They leave dogs in houses, and then they move out like they've left a lamp or an old pair of shoes.
Yeah.
It's just, while it's very heartbreaking and it's hard for good people to hear this, it's what we do is we pick up those pieces from these poor dogs that have been literally discarded. Oh, you have a new friend, Amy.
She loves you, Amy.
So Labrador Retriever Rescue of Florida is the biggest rescue in the state of Florida, and we are not a nonprofit, a 501c3, and we've been around since 2000. And so I guess that makes us almost 18 years old this year. I know. I actually,
That's great.
when I looked at that, I was like, oh my gosh, okay. So I've been working with them for a little over 10 years.
Wow.
And first as, I adopted a lab that looks actually a lot like Holly. Holly, come here, baby. Hollis, come here. Come on, Holly. Yeah. So that was my first experience with lab rescue. Because I was a person that didn't know, like, wow, there's a rescue for labs. Who would give up a lab, right?
Right.
There's literally a rescue for every breed imaginable. Oh, she's very,
Oh my God.
she likes to gesticulate and get your attention. Yeah,
Paws on
I
your
know. You're so
forehead.
cute, oh baby.
They are the best dogs.
So yeah,
Plants
after
and pets, people. Ditch the children,
And
get
young
a dog.
boys. Young
I know.
boys, don't forget about that.
yeah, I love the children piece because I have teenagers and still one sweet child at 10.
Adorable.
But yeah, ask my husband about that. Oh my gosh, the girls just love you.
Yeah, she's just so gorgeous.
All right, so I have a question that I need to ask, because when you foster an animal like this, I mean, how could you? I'm in love with her, and it's been
know.
10 minutes. I mean, how do you emotionally take in this animal into your home and then one day say, "Oh, bye-bye,
Well,
find her
it-
home or him or home," if you can adopt her or him?
So we need fosters in order to save lives because we are not a brick and mortar
Exactly.
organization. We are all home-based volunteers, and recruiting fosters is probably the most important thing that I do outside of fundraising.
Because it
And-
keeps them out of the shelters.
Yeah,
right?
and
Right.
there's only a limited amount of time that a shelter can hold a dog before they euthanize them. And if it's a case of an owner surrender, then they know that the owner surrendered the dog. They're not coming back saying, "Oh, is my dog here?" No, you surrendered the
Right,
dog. So
exactly.
there's
Okay.
literally like no hold time. I mean, they give a hold time like 48 hours so that a rescue can spring into action. But if we don't have someplace for the dog to go, we can't put them up at the Ritz-Carlton or a boarding
Right.
facility. I mean, that's just not viable. They need to go to a safe, stable place. So fosters become the lifeblood of our organization. I am a foster failure. I'm sure you've heard that term before. I've had successes, but I've had more failures than not. And that's fine. Because I always tell people that want to adopt, fill out the foster application and fill out the adoption application, because it's kind of like I've moved into houses before that I wished that I had rented before I moved in and realized, oh wow, the flight path is over my my head. When you foster a dog, you could say, well, I thought I wanted young, but not really. I think maybe a little bit older. So you're kind of like
Right.
trying a dog while you're saving their lives at the same time. And there's some people in our organization and other organizations that are simply amazing. I mean, they fostered 40 dogs, 100 dogs, and they have the ability to detach themselves and be loving and sweet and take care of them, but let them go knowing that they're going to go to a
good
wonderful home.
But see, that's a good point, because
Exactly.
if you know you're saving the dog
Right.
by bringing
That's such a
the dog
beautiful
into your
thing.
home, and then you're letting it go. It's going to another good home, and then you're taking in another one. So I never
Well,
looked
both
at it in that way.
our dogs are rescues, as we discussed earlier off air. But when you foster, is there a limit to how many you can? Like, do you guys limit? Because you get the crazy dog ladies that are men that have 85.
Right, and then it becomes hoarding and
Exactly.
like a little weird,
Yes.
a lot weird. Yeah. No, I mean, I know what my personal limit is, and it seems to kind of be uniform with a lot of other fosters. I mean, I have 5 labs now.
Okay.
One of which was a foster that I don't even know if my husband really knows that.
He does now.
But so yeah.
Cat's out of the bag.
That's funny. Cat's out of the bag, right? But a lot of people, they're big dogs. So
Yeah.
it depends upon
Yeah.
your space
Exactly.
and
Your budget.
Exactly. Yeah, right.
They eat a
Well,
lot of food.
yeah.
these
Lab
dogs.
Rescue pays for everything
Really?
except food. We pay for
Oh, the
monthly
vets and
medications,
everything?
all the
Oh,
vet
that's
bills,
good to know.
and then we do all of the marketing and the vetting for it. It's harder to adopt a lab from us. I mean this in a good way
Than a
than it
baby.
is, in some cases.
I know, that's okay.
Because they've had a bad first go round or second go
And
round
don't
in
wanna
some
do it
cases.
again.
We want them to go
And
to
be-
the absolute best home
I
possible.
don't have a problem
Yeah.
with that. I really don't.
And
it's
if-
better.
I think they should do that with kids too. to
Right,
be quite
absolutely.
honest
Yeah.
with
Well, there should be applications to have children, but
you. That's a whole
That's
other
a whole
That's a
nother
whole other show. Never
But
mind.
yeah, and then if, for God forbid, something happens with the adopters, like let's just say somebody has to go into a nursing home, or something horrible happens,
Yeah.
so they have to move overseas for
Whatever.
then Lab Rescue will always take that dog
So you
back.
have that lifelong commitment, which
Yes,
is beautiful.
yeah, and we want that. The last thing we want to do is find out that you've taken the dog back to a shelter.
How do you
How did
follow
you
up
even
with
get into
microchip?
this, Susan?
Microchip. We microchip every dog,
that's so
every
important.
dog that we take in, and most, I would say, all, but I'd say most respectable rescues. Immediately
Yeah, I see posts all the
spay and
time.
neuter.
Say, oh, who does this dog belong to? I don't
Right,
know.
yeah. And then microchip them
Now, I have
immediately.
a question for you. Do you just do it in the Florida area? What if somebody's watching who lives in New Jersey or California and wants to
Well,
work with you?
if that is actually something that I've thought about for a long time, because it would be wonderful to be able to go outside the boundaries
Sure.
of the state, but logistically we're not capable
Right.
because we are all volunteers, and we have a lot of volunteers in a lot of districts, but to cross county lines, to cross state lines.
Wow.
And it's sad because if we did have rescues that we could work with in other states,
Sure.
there's so many dogs for some reason in South Florida. Our district is the Tri-County and Keys, so we just have a lot of dogs. Now sometimes there's people in, I've heard, Pennsylvania
Right.
or New York or Vermont, that would love to have a lab,
Sure.
but there are no rescues, or it's just hard to get them. We can't. The only reason that we wouldn't ship a dog up to somebody in another state is for the well-being of the dog. If we
course.
ship a dog to
Right.
Vermont, and then all of a sudden the people go, oh,
No, I don't blame you.
right.
Yeah.
So it would be wonderful. Well, what would be wonderful is not to have a need for rescue at
Right,
all.
Exactly.
But it would be wonderful to be able to be more cooperative with other rescues. But we, out of state, we actually do collaborate very well with a lot of rescues
That's lovely.
in South Florida. I mean, we really do help each other out,
That's
as
good.
we should,
Of
right? I
course.
mean, it's not a competition.
A lot of sunshine for everybody. But now, if somebody wants to get in touch with you this evening, how do we go about doing that?
So you can go on our website, which is www.lrof.org,
Which we will put on our page.
or the old one, LabradorRescue.net.
There
We
you
have
go.
two.
So we're going to show you right now some pictures of Susan with some of her amazing labs. Blake, you can put those up.
Fabulosity.
And also, after we show you those pictures, we're going to talk about this real specifics other than and you already said a couple of them tonight about that you pay for everything except for the food. What is the actual process? Oh, there are the pictures there.
Oh, look at how
Black
pretty.
Labs matter. I love that one.
Yeah, that is adorable.
So now, are these on the bottom? I know that's your family, it's your husband and all your kids and the dogs. That's special that they support you in this whole
Right.
endeavor. How long have you
Yes.
been with this organization?
Probably a little over 10 years
Wow.
when we adopted a dog named Faith.
Aw.
She
Okay.
was named Faith because the foster lived next door to some nuns.
Oh,
So the
see?
nuns would name the dogs.
All
Yes.
Catholic all
and
the
I am
time.
a convert, a Catholic.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
This
yeah.
is
There you go.
Exactly. But
love the
yeah,
convert.
so in the Black Lab Matters photo, this is Holly.
Oh my God.
And yeah,
She
so
is.
Holly, I fostered. I had lost my 15-year-old Black
Aw.
Lab, who was like, for some people, there's that special dog, and this dog was like, for me, like my heart and soul. So I said, I'm gonna foster. I'm gonna really do this well. And my husband was worried about me. I mean, talk about medicating. I mean, I had Xanax because I couldn't
Becoming
like.
the drug of choice.
So we fostered Holly, and she was young, maybe not even one, and was used for puppies. So she was like a little oven, and then
Yeah.
dumped to
Aw.
the shelter. So she was just, you saw how amazing she is. Everybody fell in love with her in the house
She's like sleeping.
immediately.
Yeah, she's
Yes.
laying out on
She's
the
just
floor.
happy. She is
So-
sleeping.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So that was Holly's story, but and I've been a successful foster, but it's totally fine to fail, because if you fail, you've fallen in love, you've made a connection, and you've made a commitment, and you will keep that dog and love that dog, and that's all they're looking for. If
Well,
you don't fail,
I think I like that fact for people who are not sure if the dog is going to connect with the family and their lifestyle and everything. Fostering
Right.
is a good thing because it's kind of
Absolutely.
like a trial run.
Well, and I think
You're
it's
doing a good deed, but you're also not committed
right.
to anything yet.
keeping the dog forever.
I am certain
Exactly.
that you have fosters
So.
who adopt.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure.
Besides you.
Yeah. I know.
So
I'm
Blake,
like a
why
real
don't you
frequent
put up
flyer.
that one about fostering, and then Susan, why don't you tell our viewers what exactly the process is to
Okay.
go through if they are interested in fostering an animal?
Okay. All right. So if you are interested in fostering, you go to our website, and our website is very easy to navigate. And you go under volunteer and to the foster page, and it will walk you through exactly what you have to do. First of all, it just give you an overview of like what I said, what the situation. The dogs come from either an owner surrender situation from somebody's home or from a shelter, and they need someplace to go. So by law, we have to keep a dog for at least 5 days so we can test their temperament and make sure that they're healthy
Makes
and
sense.
everything's great. And then after that, we would we adopt the dog out with you. Just an adoption counselor would call the foster and say, I've got this great family, give you kind of like the stats and bios on them. Do you think that this is a good fit for this dog? And they'd say, well, yes or no based on activity level, does like cats, doesn't like cats, et cetera, et cetera. But the foster would fill out an application online and then get a phone call, interview. And then after that, we do a home visit
Oh,
to make
nice.
sure.
That's
Yeah, so
perfect.
we're very, very thorough because
I was going to
we-
ask that. Do you
yes.
actually go out there and find out what's
Absolutely,
going on?
for the
Yeah.
foster
Yeah.
and for the adopter, for sure. So, and then after that, what happens is you become a volunteer on the mailing list, and then an email will go out and from our director, who is absolutely amazing, and Kim will say, this is Rocky. Rocky is 5-year-old black male, dumped off at Broward Shelter or MDAS or whatever the case may be. Super friendly, just wants to be loved and get out, or so we have volunteers that go down to the shelter and make sure that this is a lab, that this dog is sweet and nice and gentle, but it takes a lot to turn a lab
Yeah.
bad.
It does. 'Cause
It
most
takes an
people
awful
want
lot.
those little
What-
puppies or lap dogs or,
What what is the average age of the labs that you get?
You know what? It's.
Expands
I
the
mean,
growth.
last week we had a 9-week-old that was dumped in of the Redlands. I keep saying the word dump. I'm sorry, but that's just like
Well,
No, but
rolls
that's
off
what
my
it
tongue.
is.
That's what
That's
happens.
what it is. It's the reality.
9
right?
weeks, you barely had the dog.
We
Yeah.
get 14-year-olds that somebody's had them their whole lives, and
And they pass away.
and they take them down to the shelter, and because they don't want to deal with it anymore, and that's really sad because you know these dogs are
It's your
like
lifelong-
scared.
it's your
Yeah,
lifelong-
this is a family member. This is
Exactly.
like you
It's your
know.
lifelong
Right, no, I
friends.
couldn't
I would
imagine.
rather do this to some family members
That's
than
what I'm
to-
saying. Take my 14-year-old and 17. See ya.
So the email goes out, and then
God, she's sleeping.
the volunteers can say, yes, I'm available. That sounds like a good fit for me. And then we organize and we get you the dog and, you know, give you all the parameters.
On an average, how long of a time span are we talking through the whole process?
Minimum 5 days because of the
Right.
holding period. We wanna adopt them out as quickly as
Yeah.
possible. So, you know, we'd like them to be adopted out 2 weeks to a month. If it's going to be a longer situation, like and you never know, because sometimes like that 14-year-old dog situation or 12 or 11,
hard
you
for them
say, oh wow, this is going to be like a lifer with somebody. And if you market the story right, and I don't mean that to
No, I know
sound
what
like
you're trying to
cheap,
say.
but you know, like I mean, it becomes people want to jump in and help and save and be a part of a really great heroic story.
When these dogs, like, do you ever get a lab that is there's something going on that you guys can't?
Medically or behaviorally.
Either one.
When our volunteers go down to the shelter or owner surrender, we make sure that we have, they're all thoroughly checked out
Right.
for medical reasons, for behavior, because, like I said, it takes a lot to turn a lab
Sure.
mean. And, you know, not to be a snob, because we're not, we are lab rescue. People come to us for Labradors. So they are 100% or pretty close. We will definitely take mixes, lab mixes, but they have to be pretty close to full lab and have those lab qualities.
Okay.
Because we can't jeopardize our organization, because, and you know, sometimes other rescues get nasty with us about that, but we're not vigilantes. We have
Right.
a process
standard.
that keeps
Right.
everybody safe. Our volunteers, the dog, our fosters, and our adopters. So if there's a medical problem, you know, like I said, we fix we take care of all of those bills. If it's something, I mean, we've taken dogs that are, you know, that have cancer because it's sad, and
Yeah.
we find a place, but that's why it's so important to recruit fosters, because there's somebody that will do that heavy lifting.
Oh, I think that's
So some adoptions go very fast, some take a little bit longer. Sometimes we have to shuffle about, and when I recruit new fosters, I always like to help them every step of the way, and I say give them softballs, because you don't want their first experience to be something that's a
Maniacal.
Yeah, it's
challenge.
gonna turn
Yeah,
away forever, right?
we want you to come back. So again,
And you have a lot of volunteers, I can imagine.
I would-
We do, we
Yeah,
do,
to find
we
out
do.
a lot of
But we have to
volunteers,
plead a
yeah.
lot. Like,
Yeah.
please, there's nobody out there that can take, you know, this dog, and like we were talking about colors before. There's that black dog syndrome where, for whatever reason,
That they're
black dogs,
difficult or
and
hyper.
and it's not. I
They're
mean,
not.
I
Yeah.
actually.
Sleeping.
She's on the phone here.
She's
literally
an angel.
Eyes are closed.
She's
alcohol.
young, and she's just. But
Yeah,
you know what?
I mean, the fact that, and if you're thinking, well, maybe she's older.
Never
she's
met her.
not.
She's
no,
only
she's
two.
a baby.
Yeah, she's still a
But you
puppy
know,
in lab
the
years,
amazing
for
thing
sure.
about these dogs is that they know that you've saved them. They
Yeah,
know.
they do know.
And they, right, and
Sweet
they
family
love you
dogs,
forever. So, a lot of fosters, if they wanted to decide to keep the dog, the great thing is that fosters have the first right to the dog. So, if you say,
Right.
that's why I say this is a great way to
Right.
test a
To
dog.
test.
So
it
even
out,
if
I
if you
think,
have a
yeah.
dog that you want to give up, contact them. So
Right.
that,
I mean,
you know,
we have
Right.
owner surrender on the website that
Good.
tells you how to do this. And you know, there are circumstances. I mean, there's you
things
never know.
happen.
Things
Right,
happen.
right. Out of your
Absolutely,
control. So I would
absolutely.
rather see someone take their lab to you
Exactly.
And just
than to a shelter.
Right.
For
Absolutely.
sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When we were off air, you also told us that you do another thing, which I think is very relevant for what's going on. She rescues bunnies.
And with Easter being right around the corner,
All you idiots are going to buy your kids a bunny,
Oh.
and then you're going to be tired of the bunny in a week.
True.
I'll tell you, yeah. Bunny rescue was an accident for me. I mean, you know.
It's a good accident.
Yeah. Because I would go into Pet Supermarket and, oh, aren't they cute? And then I'd look at the price tag and they're $25. And I'm like, wow. Well, that's just the beginning. I mean, the money that you put into the bunny, the mess. I mean, my bunnies have a room inside the house. They have their own private garden outside.
I don't care for a bunny.
They're messy.
They're very
People
cute.
don't realize how messy they are.
But they're a commitment. They're a 6 to 10 year commitment, if not more. Some bunnies live longer.
Stu.
So
And there's
at Easter, please don't buy any bunnies. If you want a bunny,
that went over my
I know,
head.
right?
Stu.
I went to a restaurant the other night that's phenomenal,
Rabbit.
but they had rabbit on the menu.
Yeah, I can't eat it anymore. When I don't know. I'm Italian in background. They eat anything that was
I
like
don't
an animal.
I've never eaten it.
Yeah,
so
it's very good
yeah.
when you were a kid, but when you're older and you realize what's in that pot, no thanks. But yeah, I'm not a person that I would play with a bunny maybe from afar.
But what do you play,
Play
with?
with from
You
afar.
don't play with
No, I
bunnies.
actually do play with. I do.
Maybe yours, but
The only bunny I like is Bugs.
Anybody I've ever been
Bugs
to their
Bunny.
house that has a bunny, they just sit there and their nose wiggles.
They're
and
very
they sit there
cute.
like that,
The
and
Cadbury
the
ass,
mess and the
you know.
smell.
Peter Rabbit.
I just don't. I don't know.
I don't know.
Playboy bunny.
We had this one bunny that she was our first. She was rescued from the streets at 2 weeks old, and she loves my middle child, Amanda, because that's her mother. That's the only mother that she knows, and she loves Amanda. She loves my husband because Dave's like, oh, Gigi. I mean, it's very funny to see the interaction
cute.
between like the
bunny
6'2", big, tough guy and this like 2.5 pound little bunny. Oh, were you snoring?
She was.
She woke up.
And but Gigi thinks that I'm the cleaning lady and room
Why?
service.
Are you
Okay, and
serious?
Gigi would not stay at a Motel 6. She only stays at the Ritz, and she micromanages me. So
is
while I'm
so
cleaning her
funny.
litter box or putting her food down, she's all around me. She used to nip at my heels
Are you
and
serious?
scratch me. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
they scare me, bunnies. I gotta be honest.
But she's beautiful and she's cute, and
What
I put
color?
up with
What
it.
color?
She's black and white with little white paws that look like she's got white gloves on.
And it's important to understand that you had told me, which is something I never thought about until you told me. If you have a bunny and you don't want the bunny anymore, don't let it out in the wild. They're not wild bunnies.
There's rescues for bunnies. Plenty of rescues
Bunny
for bunnies.
rescues.
East Coast Rescue, this woman up in Palm Beach area that has like 40 bunnies at any given time, and she's simply amazing. I've actually sent a lot of people there to adopt bunnies. Bunnies do better in pairs too.
Well, they like
Oh,
to
really?
multiply.
So, yeah,
That's what
yeah,
they like to
but-
multiply.
But you can't just throw 2 bunnies together. Because have you ever seen the
Bunny fights.
Yeah,
There you go.
you have to specifically bond them a certain way. It's a big process. So anyway,
Moral of the
Is moral
story:
story-
no bunnies.
but
No bunnies for you.
Just put
Think
lab ears
twice
up
before you
for
get
Easter.
one for Easter.
No,
Yeah.
buy one of those things from
Get
the dollar
chocolate.
store, the bunny ears.
Chocolate,
Put it on the
candy,
dog,
all
call
that's
it a
good.
day.
No
Buy a
bunnies.
chocolate
No
bunny.
bunnies.
It's all good.
No,
your
you're
chocolate.
always beautiful.
But I want to thank you so much for coming because
Thank you.
dogs are so amazing because they love you no matter what. They just want to be loved, and they love. You could smell, not see them for an hour, be in the toilet, whatever's going on, drunk. They love you. They love you. It
All of the
doesn't
above.
matter.
No, yeah.
Stinky, dirty.
I know.
Still
I
love.
I just want to stay in my house with my dogs. Nothing good happens when I leave my house,
And
except
her
if I
coat
come
is
here.
so shiny. and
I know,
silky.
right?
Just letting you know.
Her coat is beautiful.
Yeah,
She's
really-
a great swimmer and diver.
I have a question to answer. I have 2 smaller dogs, but do large dogs need to be bathed frequently? How often do you bathe them? Like,
Yeah.
a few times a year. I mean,
I
any
didn't with Daisy.
no brushing. I do a lot of brushing.
Yeah.
yeah, her coat
And
is gorgeous.
she jumps in the pool and saltwater pool, but
Yeah.
you don't want to over.
because it ruins
But this
their
is
skin.
diet, the silkiness
Yeah,
and everything.
yes, you're right.
and she's
A
got
great
great
diet.
diet. Fish oil. I
Diet,
give
yeah.
them fish oil
Yeah.
tabs.
There you
That's
go.
how you
Yes.
get that shine
Good
like
cholesterol
that.
management as well.
Yeah.
They're beautiful dogs. My mother-in-law, if she's watching, she's
But
gonna
it's
go
good
insane.
to know if you're
Loves-
considering getting a pet and
Adopt.
you know, and think about I mean, look at Holly. She's not a large dog. She's well behaved. I mean, some labs are. My dog, Daisy, that passed last year, was 100 pounds, and she thought she was a lap dog. She'd come up and say, you know, but she was so fun and harmless and sweet, and they really are amazing dogs.
And for all
they
you
need love,
youngsters
too.
out there,
But
try
I
the dog
love the
before the
fact that,
kids.
you know, and if you don't want the
That's what I tell
full
people.
commitment of care, I mean, really, it's just another person to feed, and they definitely eat a lot less than we do, so. you know,
adopt dogs and
considering
forget
it,
about
this
having
might be an
kids.
option for
Exactly.
you, and
I
if
agree.
you're looking
Amen.
for something to make you feel good this year, this is definitely a way to,
Let's come back on Mother's Day
Complete
and do
that.
it again.
for what?
Instead of having babies, have a dog.
Yeah,
So much
getting back to
nicer.
the motherhood is overrated thing again, for sure. But at least she's not talking about menopause tonight. We were on to college tours and labs, no menopause tonight.
Take you to JJ and go. That's all I'm saying. I've had enough of that right now. I'm not a pleasant person today, unlike I usually am. Oh, there's one person
You were
on this.
very well behaved
I
tonight,
was. You
must
before
say.
the show, very bad.
didn't
Stephanie
even look at
Zanaro,
comments.
Mink.
Are we-
She also does a rescue. She's a rescue lady. She does some rescue in Deerfield.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah,
oh,
so
good.
You may
Great.
want to hook up with her.
Sure,
Talk about
absolutely. We
She's lovely.
network. I just hooked up with Doberman Rescue lately.
it. She does
Late.
little dog rescue, but love.
That's-
That's where I got my dogs from.
Oh,
Stop
that's
buying
she's-
your pets and pet stores, people. I mean, think
Stop
about
going
look
to
at
the
all
damn
these
puppy mills.
rescues. It's so
I know.
sad. There's too
But those
many.
dogs in the puppy mills, I feel sorry for them too. 'Cause
Oh,
they
the-
look like
Well,
they're
they're
on
laying in
Xanax.
No,
cribs, and
they-
it's
They
full
know,
of
right?
pee.
Horrible.
No,
It's
and they're just
full of pee,
sitting
and
in
they
those
smell,
cribs,
and it's
and they look.
dirty. I know.
They're not like puppy happy. They're
No.
like
They're like little factories.
I know.
Yeah.
It's very scary. I don't care for
Very.
that.
Mm.
I'm not a fan. So, all right, again, just one more time, give you your website, and we're going to put everything up on our Facebook page. But just tell us.
The
one more time.
easiest one is lrrof.org. I say that's easy as I stumbled with it.
Stephanie said she loves all my rescue partners out there.
Oh, and we
You
love
got to
you
hook
too.
up with her, Stephanie. She's just fabulous. Fabulous.
Yes, unfortunately, because we find stray dogs on the street all the time now.
Jesus.
But as the economy gets better, maybe that'll stop a little bit.
Well,
Don't
you
let
and I have a lot
dogs
in
out
common.
to roam.
Lots.
That's sad.
Lots. I know it is
Just
sad.
let your dogs out. Like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, I can't take
People
care of
stop
you
and get it
anymore.
together
I
now.
know.
Pull it together.
And we have to end this on a happy note.
Yes.
Well, she is.
Come to us, we'll get you a dog like Holly.
I have
And
to be
any
honest
color
with
you want.
And Holly has a Louis Vuitton leash. I'll tell you that. And the LL Bean collar. I am in love with this dog.
Look at her.
Love
I
her.
know. I just love her.
I can't take
Look at
it.
her.
Oh my gosh.
All right. On that note, we're
You're
going to say
sleeping on the
goodnight
job.
because it's
Please
late and
have
we have to
a-
go.
See, I wore green for
I don't
No,
believe
you
in that.
for St. Patrick's Day.
I am
but
black
this
because I have a
one,
black soul. That's
It's
it.
anti.
I'm
St.
anti everything
Patty's
right
Day.
now. Anti everything.
Everyone's got a little Irish blood in them. So if you're going
No,
out
they
for St.
don't.
Patty's Day, have fun.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
I did my ancestry. I have nothing. I'm Greek, Italian, and Middle Eastern, and
And African.
no, there was no.
There was African
I
in there.
wanted
You're Sicilian.
African.
It's a given.
It said no.
I don't need
I would
DNA
have made
to
the
tell me
child
that.
check the African box,
Every
and we would have got a
Sicilian
little
is
tuition.
against that they have African in them.
They
You
did-
do.
The blood said no. I went to
I want to see
ancestry.
the report.
I'll show you. And when
Any
we're done here.
American Indian like
No, I tried
like
that so,
Elizabeth
like
Warren? We could start our own
Pocahontas.
tribe.
Pocahontas and Pocahontas. No, I wanted
Pocahontas.
Pocahontas. She's Pocahontas. That's what I call her. She's a Pocahontas.
Yeah,
I wanted to be
Pocahontas.
Pocahontas just to check the box so the kid could get a couple of
I
$100,000
started
for
checking the
tuition.
box actually just for fun.
Really?
Yeah.
Anything now?
I can't ask
What
you.
am I going to say?
Pocahontas,
I wanna check
she
'em all.
won't. She won't take a
I
DNA
want to
test.
check them all.
Anyway, that's probably another show.
That's again. We're going to bring her
Another
back.
show.
We're going to have a whole political show. We're going to talk.
Yeah.
I like that. I enjoy this very much, might I add. I think that's
Thank
what
you.
we're going to do. We're going to annoy people and talk politics because you know how much people love that.
Oh boy, that's my
I'm just
forte.
going to talk about it until you all explode. That's what I'm going to do. But other than that,
Anyways,
We're gonna say
see
goodnight.
you next Monday night. Have a great week, everybody.
what are
and
we
thank
doing
you,
next?
Susan.
What are
Thank
we
you
doing
very
next
much.
Thank
Monday?
you,
by the
Holly.
way?
I love you.
What are we doing next week?
I don't know.
I'm
Just
just-
send it.
Yeah, love. There you go. Anyway, we're out of here. Holly sends her love, and we'll be talking to you next week. We're going to post everything on our page.
Bye, everybody.
Ciao.
Thank you for joining the Two Broads from Boca. You can see us live every Monday at 7 p.m. on Facebook. See you next week, and remember, keep it classy, sassy, and a little smartassy.